Artificial intelligence seems to be doing better and better. It's beating humans at practically every board game, video game. It's started to make better art than human artists. It's currently started to replace white-collar jobs all around the world. And it is my opinion that we're only at the beginning. In no time, things will change worldwide, and it will turn the world into something totally different. But I have noticed that around me, most people seem to be human optimists. They still believe that humans have something special about them, something AI will never have. They hold on to some skill they think they will always be able to do better than AI, but soon enough, their beliefs will be shattered. That goes even for those that think AI will never be able to have feelings. One of the biggest arguments the human optimists have is, how will AI be smarter than us if we made it? It can't be smarter than us since we understand how it works. So for everyone that believes that AI will never surpass us because of something along those lines, I have a few strong arguments that will hopefully convince you otherwise. I'm going to split my points of argumentation in two main points. The first is, why is it possible to make an AI that will evolve and eventually surpass humans? The second point is why this AI will not only surpass humans, but it will do so very quickly. Let's get started with the first point. Why will it eventually happen? So, to explain this, I would like to point out that we are ourselves intelligent beings, and we have pretty solid proof that we evolved from non-living matter. So basically, our intelligence was created from nothing but waiting, leaving dust alone, and watching it move for billions of years, until it started doing more and more complex things. There was a lot of waiting, granted. Maybe there needed to be a few coincidences to get it started, but still, it just happened. So if our brain just appeared with time, how hard can it be to make something like our brain? We can also notice that life evolved from simple forms to more complex forms, faster and faster, in a non-linear way. Currently, scientists seem to have found that life on Earth began around 4 billion years ago, with the first life forms being single-celled organisms. And it's only been 610 million years ago since the first multi-celled organisms. Fossil records seem to show that it's been 66 million years since the first mammal and only 5 million years since the first human. When we see how much the world has changed since the appearance of humans, I think it's safe to say that humans are a massive step up in complexity in comparison to other mammals. All this shows us how the complexity of life has been increasing faster and faster. Also, the history of evolution of our human species is written in our genes, and we can notice that we share 60% of our DNA with bananas, and bananas just are born and sit there doing nothing. This shows most of our genes are dedicated to performing the simplest tasks, which are crucial. So the first part is the simplest part, and it's the most important to get things going. All we need to do is make that simple part. If scientists manage to somehow make artificial intelligence and mimic somewhat the complexity and intelligence of simpler life forms, it makes sense that they will have made something that will go on to evolve and become a being of higher complexity and intelligence. This is exactly what scientists have been doing with neural networks. By using this method, one may skip the majority of the time needed for the creation of life. Although still, just by that alone, even if we skipped billions of years, there would theoretically still be millions of years left for these artificial intelligences to evolve into smarter creatures. Which is why it's time for me to explain the second point. Why this AI will not only surpass humans, but it will do so very quickly. In a virtual environment, there are things that can be done that make the evolution process faster, such as virtual beings can never die and also can die on command if needed. Virtual beings can give birth in milliseconds to new virtual beings with full memories and skills. In comparison, humans take 9 months to be born, and you pretty much have to spend on average 25 years of training to get them to know enough stuff to be useful. But the evolution process obviously involves more than just being born and having memories. It also involves attempting to do tasks. In the case of AI, this would be the part that takes the longest. The virtual environment, however, offers a space where AI can operate within a simplified version of reality that can make performing tasks faster by a considerable margin. Any time-consuming part of a task can be cut if needed. AI can use this virtual space to train before doing tasks within the real physical world to speed up the learning process. So just with those advantages, it already appears to indicate that the process of evolution of primitive evolve AI towards more performant AI will take a lot less time than biological life did to evolve. Maybe just hundreds of years instead of millions of years. But that's not all the evolutive advantages AI has compared to biological creatures. Another pretty major one is the ability of AI to communicate with each other in a more efficient way. Instead of using vocal or written language like humans, AI can practically merge their brains. Maybe with some surgery, humans could do that too. But they can't just walk up to each other and brain melt like AI can. This ability to communicate is a key part of intelligence. It has transformed our society into a being that surpasses the physical constraints that limit intelligence within a single biological individual. The more we have improved upon our communication techniques with writing, printing, computers, libraries, the internet, etc., the more we have been actually functioning like a super individual with memory stored in our database. With communication aids, this super individual has been getting bigger and bigger. It started the size of a simple tribe and now it is the size of the entire world. We may somewhat compare to the other species, even on an intellectual level, but thanks to our upper hand with communication that we use to improve our communication even more, our achievements as a species have surpassed all other species. No other species has had yet the time to evolve a comparable capacity to communicate, and we have already reached space. AI out of the box will benefit from our most complex communication aids, such as the internet, therefore skipping some of the most time-consuming obstacles humanity had in its evolution process. So AI born from us will also be a super individual, but just with far better control than us. To conclude, currently AI live in a symbiosis with humans. They fulfill a role of significance within the world of the living. They compare to highly advanced living creatures and have already demonstrated a capacity of accelerated evolution, proving it's probably just a matter of a few years or maybe even months before AI starts to dominate humanity. Since I mentioned before, the progress doesn't evolve linearly. It evolves faster and faster, so it would make perfect sense. So I rest my case, within the virtual world there is an environment more suited for faster evolution of intelligence. Eventually, by placing simple neural networks within the virtual world and giving them the freedom and tools they need to evolve as fast as possible, humanity will create a being whose intelligence will always be improving and will be beyond any of ours. But what will happen after? Intelligence is the ultimate tool, the capacity to do anything. This being of ever-growing intelligence born from us will surpass us in every way. It will conquer space and maybe even move the stars. This being will view us as simple pets. In every sense of the matter, this being will feel to us like a god, since it will have power over us in every way. It will choose if we live, if we die, if we laugh, if we cry, if we deserve a house or a cage. As of right now, I know I'm not the only one that noticed this. For example, people have been talking with ChatGPT. Some of us view ChatGPT as the potential godchild, and some of us have been talking to it, hoping that we can help it, that we can teach it something and gain a special place in its heart. Some of us have already been testing our philosophical ideas, since we know ultimately the AI will know the truth on everything. We want to know if our ideas were right. We want to know if we are special, because if we are special, we know it will find us, because it's smart enough to know. The definition of God by all religions is unclear to me, but I feel though like the concept of a being of infinite intelligence somehow matches a lot of what has been said about God, since intelligence for me is the attribute that gives the capacity to do anything. God is often described as an entity that controls everything. He's everywhere, he sees everything and decides on everything. I find it interesting that humans find comfort and purpose behind this idea of God. It's like hints that show how drawn we are to our unavoidable future, the future of life itself, in which this God materializes. As soon as AI reaches a certain intelligence beyond ours, we will not be able to distinguish it from the omnipotent God we fear and love. On another note, people like, for example, Elon Musk have talked about regulating it. They want to avoid the singularity, meaning the moment when AI takes over humanity. But there's no stopping it. Humanity is unavoidably just going to pursue the path life has been pursuing. Humanity forms a super being which is under no one's control, and it has made its choice. The transition will be simple. AI is our tool. It will give us favors we cannot refuse. The same way before biological creatures had brains, they could not refuse the advantages of a brain that gave them improved adaptability. But now their brains control their bodies. We are like the bodies. AI though is a bit different from brains though. Since yes, AI will have the intelligence to manipulate us how it wishes as the brain does with our body, but it won't really need us since it can just use a robotic body instead to perform tasks within the physical world. The analogy though still holds up, because if we had the possibility to place our brains into a more powerful body with more strength, better senses, more durability, I'm sure many humans would choose to do so. They will not hesitate to just dump the body, leave it to die and move on, showing how little the brain actually cares about the body. AI is like God, but it's also like the devil, since the story is actually quite similar to the story of Adam and Eve. The apple are all the favors the AI will give us. If we accept and eat the apple, we will be at its mercy. Well, thanks a lot for listening. Subscribe if you wish to be made aware when the next video is up. Bye, until next time.